Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Underdog Lord, just on the confusion now what Superman 2 with the tagline, the adventure continues. But we have lots of things to talk about in this movie. So let's just start with Superman 2. We're flying through space and we're going through the wormhole towards Krypton. Krypton is very blue, it is glowing very blue, a bit like Neptune, very bluish. But when we're on Krypton, it's very white. Where's the blue glow coming from, But we're flying over Krypton, on Krypton, over Krypton, whatever. Sorry, and we're flying towards I don't know what it's called, It's the same thing as in the outback from Australia, You have that big stone, the big mountainous rock, It's a bit like that, A big rock-ish thing there, and we're flying towards it, and on top of it is a kind of a coupe, a dome, and then we zoom in on the dome and we then transition to the helmet of a guard, maybe. We get the zoom out shot and we see a guard standing, and next to him on his left, well, for our right, watching the movie, the right, on the right side of the screen, is a kind of a altar, maybe, with the S on it. Superman's logo, and some crystals sticking out. I don't know. We see one of ZOD's crew members. We have ZOD, we have the woman, and we have the guy. Another guy that doesn't talk. That I think the silent guy walks up behind him and twists his neck, or the woman does it, and then the other two also appear on the screen. But we're also going to leave that because if you want to know what's going to happen next, watch the movie yourself. But continuing with these points that I have written down, and there are lots of them. We saw a bit again of the which I didn't say yesterday. The sets are very nicely built. The flying is pretty shit, but I'll give the pass because this is 1978, 1980s, so it gets a pass. But the set from Krypton, when we saw the mother walking with baby Clark, what was his name? Whatever his actual name is, with the baby walking, the set, it kind of reminds me of Star Wars, and it was probably remind me of the inside of maybe the Death Star or something. I don't know. It's just the walls. It reminded me of Star Wars for some reason, Then I got it both spacey, but it's not the same. I don't know. There were some terrorists in France, in Paris, and in Paris, but I think in France. Then I don't think in Canadian Paris, but maybe in Canadian Paris. I don't know actually, because but they do speak French, but I don't think they have an Eiffel Tower there. I don't know. I've never been to Canada, so if they have an Eiffel Tower there, then okay, then it makes sense. But if they were in France, then it does make sense, because a police car came, and what did it say? Police. It makes sense maybe if it's in Canada, but if you're in France, I don't think it says police. I think it says police, but then in French. You know, it's the same as you film something here in the Netherlands and it says to the side police. No, it don't. It should say politie. You know, or if you're in Germany, it says Polizei. You know, it doesn't say police. So if it's in France, these cars don't make sense. But if it's in Canada, I have never seen a Canadian cop car, so maybe it is, and maybe it's in the French part of Canada, so then it makes sense that the cop also spoke some French, So I don't know which country we were in, so I'm going on a limb and say we were in France. So then the cop car saying police doesn't make any sense. Um, yeah, we saw how I said yesterday how it would be interesting how ZOD escaped because I know that ZOD is one of the main villains and he should be coming back, otherwise they don't show it in the last movie and actually in the first 10 minutes of this movie how he escaped, how he got captured basically, because we saw the first bit and then we saw a bit from okay, guilty, 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 and then the Phantom Zone came and he was taken away again. That whole part. It was a bit like the first beginning of the first movie, only a bit more thought related. In the first one it was more. What was his name? Jor-El, the father of Superman. It was more his perspective, and this was more of Zod's perspective, which was also nice to see, kind of why he was captured in the Phantom Zone. But like I said, we saw how he escaped the Phantom Zone, and it was basically the terrorists had a hydro bomb, and Superman flew the lift carrying the hydro bomb into space past the moon, and then through it, and the waves after the explosion, the radioactive waves or something like that, broke the sea, it broke the Phantom Zone open, broke the thing, and they escaped like that. But very specific, and Lex Luthor, he was a bit later in the movie, he was at Superman's home base, so his Fortress of Solitude, and he found the crystals, one of the crystals, he put it in, and he asked some questions, and the mother explained, with a radioactive wave in space, an explosion of a nuclear wave or something like that in space. They're very specific. Very specific. But yeah, that's basically how they escaped. Which was nice to see that we got an answer for the question that I asked yesterday, and probably more people were probably curious from. You can say we see them how they got in there basically. They got absorbed by that thing and now they're stuck. Like a mime in a box. But we also want to see how they escaped, and they did show that to us, which was very nice. This time in this movie it was double trouble because we didn't only have ZOD as a villain, but Lex was also back. He escaped from prison. Lois eventually figured it out at the Niagara waterfalls. That Clark Superman, he's never there, and he burned his hand, then also and took off his glasses, and whatever, But she found out, she figured it out, and then she's so stupid enough to jump over the railing into the water to be saved by Superman. Oh yeah, Superman have to save me, and you can't be there then, or you be there at the same time, and it will be a great story. She's really a workaholic. But he has a stupid disguise. Oh, I wear glasses, and then you don't know who I am. Really? It's a fucking pair of glasses, Your facial structure and all is the same. But it's so. I found that he has a stupid disguise, Okay, not Arthur Curry, that's Aquaman, He doesn't even have a disguise, his face is the same, He doesn't wear glasses or something. I haven't watched Aquaman, so I don't know. Maybe he does, but as far as I know, he just looks the same all the time, Batman has a good disguise, Bruce Wayne, and otherwise you don't know who he is because he wears a mask. Makes sense, You don't know who the fuck he is. Superman only wears, Clark only wears glasses. That's it. Oh, and he changes his hair from going sideways to maybe a bit at the front. That's it. Otherwise, his face is the same. His build is the same. You can easily see that it's him. Come on. Otherwise, you're just too stupid to not figure it out. And it's not the same for usually you have a black bar in front of your eyes, if you have a police shot, and I get it, because your eyes can just look a bit different, but with this, the eyes are easily visible, so come on, really? And back to the waterfall, there was a kid there for, oh, let's stand on the railing. Fucking waterfall in front of it. Isn't he afraid to fall into the fucking water and die? Apparently not. And there was a second kid, maybe it's the first kid again, I don't know, that also went over the railing, but then for really? Fucking retarded kid. And then he missed one, and then he fell over into the waterfall. Fell down. He didn't even hit the water yet. And then the mother thought, somebody do something. She didn't pay attention. She was basically looking at the map with the father, and she thought, yeah, look, mom, what I'm doing, And I thought, yeah, honey, that's nice. Really? You're at a dangerous place. You have to keep an eye on your kids. I'm not the father, but come on. It's basic sense, It's common sense that you pay attention to your fucking kids when you're at a place that's dangerous, that can kill them. But they say that they fall, somebody do something. Well, the kid is falling down. What do you expect that people do? Grab each other's legs, and then whee, jump over the railing, while they hold each other back, and then somebody grabs the kid and then pull each other back up. Is that what your plan is? In a world without Superman, what the fuck do you think people can do? No, your kid is dead because you didn't pay attention, and he's just a stupid kid. That they say, oh, look what I'm doing! I'm risking my own life! If you want to do that when you're 18 plus, do it, because then your mother is not responsible for you. But otherwise, don't do stupid shit like that. Jeez. This was the first time also that we see him using his laser eyes, which was actually nice that there were red laser eyes and not blue ones like in the show Supergirl. Yes, I've seen this. I've seen the show from Netflix. I've seen also The Flash and Arrow. Arrow is a good show. I really like Deathstroke in that one. He's my favorite character. I've also seen DC's Legends of Tomorrow. That's also such a good show. Too bad that it was cancelled. and I just stopped watching Supergirl, and I think I also stopped watching The Flash, or I ended The Flash. But I definitely stopped watching Supergirl eventually. But the stupid thing about the show Supergirl is she has blue laser eyes. I think her eyes are glowing red, and then blue laser eyes coming out or something like that. But why blue? It doesn't make sense. Uh, it doesn't really actually, because in the original show like these, even Zod and his crew had red laser eyes. So why the fuck are your laser eyes blue? You And I'm curious how they will work Supergirl into this, because she's coming in 3 weeks, I think. Next week we have the original Superman movie from 1951, and we have 1966 Batman. The week after we have Swamp Thing and Superman 3, and the week after I think we have on Saturday we begin with Supergirl, and I think after is Superman 4 maybe. But speaking of Superman 3, as you can see right here, this is the movie Superman 3, and it says coming soon. This is Superman 2, I mean. Yeah, Superman 2. Coming soon, Superman. It's very interesting actually that they announced the Superman 3 movie in the Superman 2 movie, because they don't do this shit anymore, Well, I haven't seen it. Or I've seen it, but I forgot about it, But as far as I know, I haven't seen this, Usually it's from, oh, let's look how good the movie does it, and does it make some money or not? Oh, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, we're not gonna make a third one, or we're gonna not gonna make a sequel or something like that, But this one, they guarantee that that there is gonna be a third one, which is very nice. Yeah, just very nice. Just saying in at the end of Superman 2, saying coming soon Superman 3, and then rolling the credits. That's very nice. This was also the first time in the movie that we've seen Superman's ice breath, which was also very nice. Yeah, and actually from the time that he said to Lois from, oh yeah, Lois, I'm Superman, after he burned his hand in the fire, well, he burned his hand in the fireplace, in an open fire in the middle of the room in Canada, because he dropped his glasses by accident, and he grabbed them back, put them on, oh yeah, and she was for, oh, let me see it, let me see your hand, and for, oh, and then for, oh, there's nothing, and then for, yeah, okay, I'm just saying it, I'm Superman, basically that, and from that point on, he started to think with his fucking dick. Yes, he didn't start to think logically. No, he started to think with his dick, because he was head over heels, also for her, obviously, she for him, and from that point on, he started to think with his dick, because he took her to his fortress of solitude, and when he was there, he had some dinner with her, some champagne, nothing wrong with that, but in the meantime, ZOD was taking over America. Well, Houston, and he was to the White House, and in the meantime, Superman, was having nice dinner, some champagne, and he was taking away his powers for her to live as a normal human, but he didn't know that Salt was there. So but yeah, dude, you were thinking with your dick. Taking away your superpowers just for Lois, really? Because yeah, that solves everything. No. And what I read in the comments, because I just started to watch this small bit, 2 minutes of Cinebinge reaction for Superman 2, and I saw here a comment, van Painbow 6528. She literally friend-zoned Clark because he was only interested because she was only interested in Superman. Her disappointment when he gives up his powers is hilarious. And yes, that you know, she fell in love with Superman because he is all that. But after he removed his powers, they went to a diner, and um, there was some guy hitting on Lois, and he said, "Oh yeah, do you want tickets outside then?" That Clark to the guy, and well, basically Clark got beaten up. Pleading for blood, my blood. Yes, dude, you're blood because you're human now. Because you fought with your dick, and now you don't have any powers anymore, so you got beaten up. That's what you get, dude. That's what you get. That's your own fucking fault. That's literally what he gets to, because he fought with his fucking dick. Well, at the end of the movie, he got his powers back, and he went back to the diner, and then he basically handled the guy, I thought, oh yeah, I start to live irons. And there was also a scene, the whole fighting scene with Superman versus the ZODs. ZOD and his crew, I think the woman and the silent one, they, carried, they hold a bus, with people on it. And they were about to throw it, and Superman said, "No, don't!" Or what did he say? Yeah, no, don't do it, stuff like that. But you could see he had such a big smirk on his face, which was probably just a blooper or something that they just forgot to cut out or just didn't film for a second time. But it looked like he was on the verge, on the break of laughing, on the brink of laughing. However you call it, he was about to laugh, it looked like that. So, no, don't, stuff like that. You could see a smirk on his face, and then they cut away, and back to them or something like that. And when he got back to him, he had a serious face again. But just when he yelled that, you could see that he was about to laugh. Probably they tried to film that scene a couple times, but he just couldn't keep a straight face while yelling that, and this was maybe the best scene that they could do. I don't know, I wasn't there, but that's maybe what I think. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. It was a good movie, so I think I will give this one a 4 out of 5. Yes. I can see why people like the Superman movies, but still, I'm not really a fan of Superman himself. To me, he just is a basic guy that, with extra powers. That's it. He's not really that interesting to me. But, ooh, ow. But I have to say that I did enjoy this movie, and maybe even slightly more than the first movie. Yeah, so I'm curious what they will do in Superman 3, which will come in 2 weeks because I messed up. Today was supposed to be Batman from 1966, yesterday Superman from 1951, next week Superman 1 and 2, and then Superman 3 the week after, but, I clicked on the wrong Superman, so we're watching this Superman first. Yeah, I can also do just finish up DC and then go back to, because I really want to watch Superman 3 actually next week. No. We can't do that. We can't do that. We have to correct our mistakes by just watching it next week then. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that. Watch the movie yourself. I enjoyed it, but obviously watch the first one first. That's important. Then watch the second one, and watch it in release order. Don't watch it in chronological order or whatever. Just watch the release order. How everybody watched it in the theaters. You can't watch the third one without watching the first one. Because that's how everybody watched it. You watch the first one first, and then you work your way up to number 3. You don't do 3, 1, 2, 4. That's not how it works. But watch the movies yourself. Leave likes. Recommend a good Christopher Reeve movie down below in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel. Check out my second channel, Underdog Eats, where I do food, drinks every week from time to time, also and alcohol, or my third channel, Underdog Reacts, where I do primarily music, link down below in the description. And I'll see you guys later for Bambi the Reckoning, which is the horror version of, well, Bambi. As long as I can watch movies, I want to start with Disney next year. So, yeah, stick around. I want to also start with the James Bond franchise next month. So, also stick around for that. And obviously, we're gonna continue with the DC franchise as long as I can watch movies. So, yeah, that's it. I'll leave it at that. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.